Shadow Spurs here. What if I told you that Serie A has been quietly producing the exact player Tottenham Hotspur need right now, and almost no one in England is talking about him? His name is Marco Palestra. He's 20 years old. He plays for Cagliari on loan from Atalanta. And right now, Spurs scouts are watching him closely. Today on Shadow Spurs, we're breaking down exactly who Palestra is, why Spurs are interested, what he'd bring to N17, and whether we can actually get him. Let's get into it. Oh, and spoiler, we're not the only ones sniffing around. Not even close. Born March 3rd, 2005, in Buccinasco, Italy. 6'1", right-footed, Marco Palestra is one of those players whose journey to right back is almost as interesting as his football. He started his career as a central midfielder, then became a winger, and was eventually converted into a right back at under 17 level. That background? It's not a footnote, it's actually the secret to why he's so dangerous. He came through Atalanta's famous academy, same academy that's produced world-class fullbacks like Raul Bellanova and Davide Zappacosta. Clearly something in that Bergamo water. He made his first team debut for Atalanta in the Europa League back in December 2023. But consistent game time at Atalanta was hard to come by, with established internationals ahead of him. So last summer, he headed to Cagliari on loan, and that's where his career has exploded. This season in Serie A, 25 appearances, 1 goal, 4 assists. Average FOTMOB rating of 7.15. He's been one of Cagliari's most important players in their fight to stay up, and the big clubs have noticed. Now this is where it gets really interesting for Spurs fans, because Palestra isn't your traditional defensive right-back who sits in, does his job, and goes home. He's a modern, attack-minded fullback, exactly the profile the game is evolving towards. Let's break down his game, because this lad has a lot going on. Remember I said he was originally a midfielder and winger? You can see it in his game. He's comfortable with both feet. He can play as a traditional overlapping fullback, as an inverted fullback cutting inside, or even as a right wing back in a back three. That positional flexibility is rare, genuinely rare, and it gives any manager tactical options most fullbacks just can't provide. His passing has been described, and I love this, as like hiding the ball in a safe. He's tidy in possession, doesn't take unnecessary risks, and his crossing is genuinely dangerous. For a 20-year-old, his composure on the ball is remarkable. Dot at 6'1" with a long stride. Palestra covers enormous distances. He gets up and down the pitch for 90 minutes, and is rarely caught out of position in transition, either end of the pitch. His stamina and relentlessness are elite. Okay, so here's the Spurs context, and we all know it's not been pretty. Pedro Porro has spent chunks of this season injured. When he's been out, we've had Archie Gray, a midfielder, a brilliant young player, but a midfielder filling in at right back. Djed Spence has been floating around the left because of Udoggy's injury issues. It's been a patchwork nightmare at the back. And here's the thing. Even when Porro is fit, he's been inconsistent, and there are genuine questions about whether he's the long-term answer at this club. What Spurs need is a right back who can compete for that starting spot. Someone who's going to push Porro and grow into a long-term starter at this level. Someone technically excellent, modern in their understanding of the position, and young enough to develop with the team. Tell me that doesn't sound exactly like Marco Palestra. According to Nicolo Schira, one of the most reliable journalists in the transfer market, Spurs scouts have already been to watch Palestra in person. They were in the stands at the Unipol Domus when Cagliari played Lazio. He played the full 90, he impressed, and the report back was excellent. This isn't a rumor from a random blog, this is scouts in seats. That matters. Right. Here's the bit that either excites you or terrifies you, depending on your relationship with Spurs transfers. Palestra has not gone unnoticed. We are far from alone in this race. Reports link him to Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Juventus, AC Milan, and Napoli. Yeah, pretty much everyone. The lad is that good. Now, there's a complication. Atalanta own him, and their loan deal with Cagliari runs until summer. Atalanta are in no rush to sell. They actually see Palestra as part of their own future plans. Their asking price? Reports suggest they'd want somewhere between 35 and 40 million euros. So can Spurs compete at that price? They should be able to. But here's the real question. Can we offer him a project that convinces him to choose us over a Champions League club? That's the honest challenge. The Premier League is a big draw for young Italian players. The money is there, and if we can sell him on a genuine pathway to first-team football and a proper rebuild, that's a compelling pitch. One thing worth noting, Palestra is Italy under 21 level right now, and there are whispers about a senior Azzurri call-up on the horizon. Playing regularly in the Premier League, even at Spurs in our current state, could actually accelerate that international ambition. Look, I'll be straight with you, as always on this channel. Marco Palestra is exactly the kind of signing Spurs should be making right now. Young, talented, versatile, with an elite technical foundation from one of the best academies in European football. He's not a finished product, but at 20, with the right coaching, the ceiling here is very high. At 35 to 40 million, he's not cheap. But think about what we've wasted on fullbacks in the past. This is a smart, calculated investment in someone who could be a first-team starter for the next decade. The competition is fierce. Yes, but Spurs have the financial muscle. Hopefully, if all goes as well as can be expected, the Premier League appeal, and with Pochettino as manager, a clear sporting vision in a new rebuild. If we go for him with intent and sell the project properly, we have every right to be in this race. That's the Marco Palestra breakdown. The right-back Spurs fans didn't know they needed, but absolutely do. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you take him? What's your price limit? And who do you think wins the race for his signature? If you're new to Shadow Spurs, welcome to the family. We suffer together, we scout together, and most importantly, we remain Spurs together, today and always. Shadow Spurs out.